I wanted to share an idea with you that I think is something that could easily be taken for granted. But it's one of those not only important, but high level ideas that really is the essence of many of the things that I talk about in my various videos. When I'm coaching someone and I'm trying to get them to improve revenue in their business and get more clients, I look back at my own life, both in terms of what I've been able to accomplish and what I've seen others accomplish, and why that has been the case. Now, of course, there are all kinds of techniques that we learn in selling and marketing and strategy and tactics and copywriting. I mean, we could go on and on with all kinds of techniques. But in the gut of the person who really succeeds is expectation. It's a level of expectation. Now, sometimes expectation comes from experience. A person has had a certain kind of experience, and therefore they expect what their experience has told them. That's good and bad, because if their experience has told them that they make a lot of mistakes, that things are very difficult, that it's a long road, they will keep experiencing that in their business. What I'm talking about is not expectation tied to events. I'm talking about expectation tied to desires. Now, this might sound like metaphysical, and I guess it is to a degree, but I know of no successful business person who does not come at their work with a level of expectation. And even if that expectation initially is modest, that is strengthened, and their expectation is, yes, we'll get $10,000 for that product. Yes, we'll get $20,000 for this launch. Yes, we'll get $1 million in this time frame. Yes, we'll book a couple of $1 million in business. The expectation begins to serve as a guide going forward, and it helps them accomplish what others cannot because their expectations are so small. Now, the first place you have to start with the expectations are in the basics. And if you have a business that isn't flourishing right now, it's probably the basics that are at issue, the expectations that are at issue. For example, if you were not an entrepreneur and you were going into a job, there would be certain expectations you would have, right? The first expectation is that you arrive on time, right? You start on time. Entrepreneurs who don't start on time, who don't have definite work hours where they start, definite days, are not going to accomplish what others are going to accomplish. So if you're starting work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or not getting out of bed till late, or any number of things that are not tied to the discipline of starting on time, you're going to have a challenge, right? You're going to have a challenge. So you've got to have the expectation that you are going to do what is required every day from a time frame standpoint to get what needs to get done. Now, the second piece of that is not only starting on time, but putting aside whatever issues may exist. Because if you worked in a job, you wouldn't be thinking about, oh my goodness, the plumber's coming, or my son gets off at school at a certain time and have to go check on him or pick him up, or let me call and make a doctor's appointment in the middle of the day. The expectation during the day would be that you are committed to whatever you're doing. You're committed to that task. Now, some of you who work at home, the people around you might think that because you're at home, that you're there for the family. You're there to do those things. But I want to encourage you to discipline yourself to say, these are my work hours. These are the things I'm committed to in these hours, and I'm going to get these things done. Every day I rifle through things. You'd be shocked at the amount of work that I accomplish in a given day for various audiences on various platforms, coaching clients, corporate clients, content production, social media distribution, on and on, videos, shooting videos. And that's because I commit to working 100% of the time that I'm at work. And if there are times where I take a break, and I do take a break during the day, I come right back and get back to what I need to get done. So that's the you commit to putting those things aside. Related to that is doing the work, of course. So putting aside those things that are distractions and then doing the work. The fourth thing that in terms, seems like every time I shoot a video, someone has to go to the hospital here. But the other thing that is important is when you work somewhere else, you value the job, right? You value the job. And what I want you to do as an entrepreneur is really think about the value of who you are and what you do. Even if you're not making a penny at what you're doing, you are performing a function that is worth six figures. And think about that for a moment, what someone would have to pay you to lead a business, to develop strategy, to work with certain clients, to build those relationships, to make those accounts grow, to deliver the product or service. And if you're in some kind of craft of some kind, you know what it might cost if someone were to buy that service if you worked in a corporation. Do you value it at that number? Do you value it? See, what I'm trying to get you to do is to think about the mind game here in achieving your results. Because these are the things that keep me on track every day. Now, the fifth thing I want you to think about is perhaps the most important thing. And that is, if you worked at a job, guess what? You'd expect to get paid. You'd expect to get paid commensurate with the value that you bring to the organization, with your experience, with the quality of your work, with market conditions. You'd expect to get paid. So why is it that you don't expect to get paid at that level as an entrepreneur? Why is it that you don't price your services at the right level? Why is it that you don't bill clients on time? Why is it that you are not expecting your marketing to work? These are all things that can change your business aside from the techniques, the strategies, the tactics, all of these things. It's expectations. And I can tell you, if you walk into a room and you have command of these expectations and you're meeting with a new client, that client is going to feel something from you. That prospect is going to feel something from you. And they're going to realize that they're going to have to pay you at a certain level. I had a client just not long ago say to me, actually, she didn't become a client, but she said to me, I could tell when you walked in the room at this conference that your approach was at a different level. And once you got into your presentation and you talked, I said, oh boy, this guy's probably expensive if I want to hire him to do some consulting with me. And I didn't let her down either when I gave her a quote, because that's an important aspect of who you are and what you do. Not for everyone, right? It's not for everyone. So you have to remember that expectations are driving results in your business. And just listen to your language. Do you think it's slow in the summertime? Do you think it's difficult to get clients? Do you think everyone's gone during the holidays? Do you think, what are your expectations? And I can tell you that there are entrepreneurs out there who expect something completely different, and they get different results. So all of these things that we're doing together, this content like this, the techniques that we teach, none of this is valuable if you don't work on that expectation muscle. When you get up in the morning, ask yourself, what do I expect today? Who do I expect to become a new client today at a premium level? Who do I expect to show appreciation for my work? Do I expect some new ideas, some new creativity in my business? Do I expect to try something new and see it work? Do I expect to meet new people? Do I expect to make this a successful week? I had a client once said to me, he used to say, I'm expecting an unexpected amount of money. So something out of the ordinary he was expecting. And he got it after a couple of weeks because he was expecting something by surprise. And that's exactly what happened. When he started to not think about it anymore, he realized that someone had contacted him, offered him an opportunity, and it wasn't something that he anticipated. So work on those expectations. Prosper, to be abundant, to do great things, to break new ground. And I'm going to start expecting that of you, and I hope you will expect that of yourself. I'll see you next time.